Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have my friend Natalie here.
Hi beauties.
And Natalie actually has her own YouTube channel. Today we did her makeup. We gave her like a editorial kind of rustic burgundy. It's just an out there kind of look. It has like a pop of color in the inner corners and I really like it because it made her green eyes pop. Definitely don't forget to check out her channel. I will leave her YouTube and her Instagram down below. If you want to see how to get this look, then keep on watching. Hi guys, so I'm starting off with the beautiful Natalie and I'm skin prepping her. The first product that I always use on my clients is MAC Softening Lotion. I think of it as an exfoliator without actually having to wash your face. So I like to focus this pretty much everywhere, but especially around that nose crease. I feel like product tends to build up there. And then Natalie has dry skin, so I'm using Embryolisse. I actually use this on tons of skin types, oily, combo, dry. Pretty much everyone gets a little Embryolisse in their life. It's just a really nice moisturizing cream that actually has like a built-in primer, which is really nice. It really makes the skin soft. Now I'm applying these Peter Thomas Roth 24 karat gold eye patches. This is going to hydrate the under eye, and this is something that I've been including with my clients. Even if they don't have dry under eyes, it's still gonna prep that area, depuff that area, and just prep it for concealer and baking and all of that. So now I'm just filling in her eyebrows. Clearly she has dark hair, so I'm using the Anastasia brow powder. I'm using the Pro palette and I kind of just mix colors. I feel like mixing colors just gives me the best, most natural results because hair typically isn't just one tone or one shade. And then I'm just cleaning up her brows and I'm using concealer and I'm using the MAC Studio Finish Concealer in NC20 and I'm just sharpening up the brows and cleaning them up. If she had any like stray hairs, I just want to conceal them, and this is gonna give the look a bit more of a cleaner look, I guess. But like you guys know, I always go back to the brows, so this is just gonna frame the face for my eyeshadow. I like to start off with the brows, give them a little shape, and then go back to them later on. So now I'm prepping her eyes with MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pots, and I'm just applying this all over her eyelid space just to cancel out any redness, any veins that she may have, any discoloration, and so that the eyeshadow can last a lot longer. And I'm just applying that with a Zoeva brush. I think an eyeshadow primer is something you should definitely never skip. Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I'm using a kind of like beige color just to basically set that paint pot. It's a lot easier to blend your eyeshadows if you do this step. If you just go into your crease color, it's a lot harder to blend. So I'm going to be using all colors from the Modern Renaissance. This is the burnt orange color and I just really like this in the crease. We're gonna be going for something a little bit different, a little more out there. So you can obviously use any palette, any peachy color for this. You don't have to use this exact palette, but I do like the palette. As long as you set the whole lid, you know, the crease color is gonna go on a lot better. So I'm just going in windshield wiper motions. I like to kind of create the eye shape with this step. And so I love peachy and warm colors because they're very forgiving. And so I'm just kind of creating her eye shape. Like I said, she has really nice lid space, so we can do a lot with this. So I was kind of just doing like going with the flow kind of thing. So here I'm creating like a halo and I'm just creating a V shape at the end rather than just a rounded edge. Now I'm going to use this really pretty like burgundy color, and I really like the way purples and pinks look paired with blue and green eyes. I think they just makes them pop so much more. So I'm applying this to the crease and I'll have everything listed down below. You don't have to use these exact products, but this is more just to show you my technique and to show you my technique of layering, because I think it's very important for me. I layer my shadows, I layer my products, and I think that gives me the best results and it lasts really long. So as you can see, I'm just following that shape that I created with the burnt kind of sienna orange color, and then I'm adding this to the inner portion of the eye to create that halo effect. Now Natalie has large lids, or I guess medium to large lids, so this look is pretty easy on her eye shape, and so I just wanted to play around, get creative with it. She doesn't have much of a hooded eye, so I took advantage and I started playing with color. And I love this because it still is kind of neutral and it's just gonna make her eyes pop. So again, I'm just applying this to the inner corner and then the crease and then connecting it. Now I'm applying some gold. This is a NYX glitter in gold, and I did put some eye candy. It's kind of like an adhesive, just so that the glitter can stay on the lids. But I will say that this glitter has a ton of fallout, even with the eye candy base. So I do want to get the NYX glitter base. I've heard it's amazing, and also the MAC, I think it's like a mixing medium, because I heard those are really good. So now I'm taking a more detailed brush, and I'm just going to basically halo around the gold. Now with this glitter, you really have to like blend a lot, because what happens is it can tend to just look like it's placed there. So I like to kind of hug the eyeshadow with the other matte colors, just so that it looks like I placed it there and not just like a blob of gold glitter. So as you can see here, I'm hugging the pigment to create that halo. And this Sigma brush, this precision brush, is perfect for this, the E36, because it just gets into those little creases and those little detailed spaces. And having tons of different types of brushes is so important when you're freelancing, because you never know what eye shape you're gonna get. You never know what look they're gonna ask for. So you need small brushes, you need big brushes. For instance, here I'm using something a little more on the pencil kind of side. This is one of my favorite brushes, MAC 221, and I'm just applying a bit of a brown. So as you can see, I'm layering. I didn't go in straight with a dark color, because that's where it's gonna go really wrong. I build and I layer, starting from my lightest color to my darkest color. And now I'm using the Diamond Glow powder from Artist Couture in Supernova. Oh my god, I saw an inspiration picture. Actually, one of you guys sent me an inspo picture, and then I followed this tutorial based off that picture. I'll include a link down below. It's so gorgeous, and I just fell in love with it. So I decided to go with the Supernova, because in the picture the girl has something like that, and I don't know, it's just something a little different. Like you don't really typically see pink in the inner corners. You typically see white or gold or something like that. So pink, I don't know, it's still kind of neutral, but it's just so reflective. It's like a blue toned pink, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So now I'm applying some mascara, and I'm using a disposable spoolie, obviously. If the client has their own mascara, it's so much better to use the actual mascara wand, but you know, if they didn't bring it with them, you can use a disposable wand, and you know, any mascara will do. I'm actually not doing any liquid liner at this point. I'm applying some base, is the Lancome primer. I've been loving this. It's really good for dry skin. Again, Natalie has dry skin, so I'm using products geared towards her skin type. Now I'm applying some Lilly Lashes. Lashes are also really important when freelancing. You know, you need to have tons of different types of lashes. I typically only use mink lashes for weddings and like really special events, but Natalie's my boo, so I threw some Lilly Lashes on her, and these last so long. So make sure to give your client the box, the corresponding box, so that they can keep them and save them and just kind of preserve them when they remove them. So I'll leave everything like details, names, everything down below. Now I'm using my favorite foundation ever. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I just always go back to this, and this is just bomb. First I started using the shade Tawny, and it ended up being a little too light. So I'm just adding a bit of a darker color right on top. Again, I love to mix colors. I think it's the most natural. Your skin doesn't have one color in it. It's not just one pigment. So mixing colors, I feel like you really just get it spot on. You might get a foundation that's your shade but not your right tone. So that's why I like mixing two colors to get the right shade, tone, and all of that. You know, a color could be light, but it's not yellow enough, or it's not pink enough. So that's why I like mixing things, and so that's why I like having everything in my arsenal. I literally want to have all of the Estee Lauder Double Wear foundations, because it's that good. It's long wearing, and even though she has dry skin, I've prepped her so it's not going to look dry on her, but it's going to last so long. Now I'm using the Becca Under Eye Corrector, and this is just a nice peachy pink color, and this one's like a brightening kind of thing. I was kind of just testing it out, trying it out, just to cover any darkness that she may have. Now, Natalie has gorgeous freckles, but she wanted me to cover them up. So we're using this just to cover up any darkness. Now, peach and pink is going to counteract any darkness you have under your eyes. So Natalie's under eyes weren't too dark, but I still wanted to show you guys this, because I know I get that a lot. Like, how do I cover my dark circles? Step 1, corrector. Step 2, concealer. Now, I'm using a concealer that's a lot lighter than her skin tone. I'm using MAC Pro Longwear, and do you see this coverage? Yes, this coverage is insane. It's awesome. You only need a little bit. It lasts you forever. Again, it's the Pro Longwear concealer, and I just love it. It's so good, and I'm using NC20, and I'm just blending that in trying to be very gentle around her eyes. It's a very gentle area, so you want to have your client look up and just blend away, and just be very careful. You don't want to poke them in the eye, because then they're going to be tearing all day and it's not good. Like, you're just going to have to fix whatever is down there, because their eyes are going to get watery if you poke them. So be very gentle, but don't be afraid. And now I'm baking, and I'm using the RCMA No Color Powder. You guys always ask me what I like better, Laura Mercier or the RCMA. Honestly, this one's great for dry under eyes. I do love both though. Now I'm just setting her face. I'm using MAC Studio Fix Powder, and I'm using the shade C5. It's a nice yellow, peachy, kind of golden color. Natalie has a nice tan going on. So I'm just setting her face. I've talked about this before. I think the main part of like this whole video is to show you that I set everything before I go forward in layering. I don't just go ahead and layer tons of bronzer on top of her foundation. I have to set it first. So now I'm just removing any bake, and I'm using a Sigma brush, and I'm kind of pressing the product in and also swiping away. If you just swipe too hard, it gets really dry under there. So I've noticed that if I kind of just press it in, it kind of helps. So just pressing that and making sure there's nothing left over, because it will cause some weird lighting situation when you take pictures with flash. So make sure you remove any bake that you may have there. Now I'm contouring, and I'm using Bobbi Brown Golden Lights, and I'm using the Kat Von D shade and contour brush. I'm using the angled side, obviously, to give her a slight contour. This is just kind of mapping out where I'm going to be bronzing and furthermore contouring later. I kind of just like to map out and then go in. It's a lot easier to build than to remove. And if you're working on someone and you feel like you're being rushed, what happens is you tend to over apply. So here I'm using MAC Give Me Sun. Now if I would have went in with MAC Give Me Sun off the bat, it might have been a little too strong. So again, layer and build and deepen as you go. So now I'm using a Makeup Geek blush, and it's a nice peachy color. I love this one. I love Makeup Geek blushes. They're nice and they're matte and they're pigmented. And I'm using this brush. What was that from? Too Faced? Yes, Too Faced. I'm like bugging out right now. Yes, the Hoola blush brush, and I love it. Now I'm using the ColourPop Kathleen Lights collaboration, her eye pencil. I love it. It's a nice rustic brown. And then I'm applying that same burgundy shade from the Modern Renaissance palette underneath her eye. Now you guys all need this brush. If you are freelancing, you need this today, yesterday, tomorrow. It's the Kat Von D shade Light Eye Brush. It is so bomb. Seriously, you're gonna not regret it. I literally want to have 5 of these. It blends the under eye like no other. It isn't too harsh on their eyes, because like I said, if your client has contacts on or has sensitive eyes, you do not want to poke them in the eye. So this brush is perfect. It has this nice detail side, so I'm using that to kind of deepen right underneath. And as you can see, her eye color is just popping so much at this point, because these nice red tones are just bringing out that like green and hazel in her eyes. I love that Kathleen Lights ColourPop pencil too, because it really makes green eyes pop, and brown eyes, but especially green eyes. It just brings out the red tones and it just pops like no other, and I really love it. So I'm just blending that out, smoking it out, basically copying everything that we have on the lid underneath her eyes. So the same gold, same kind of brown, in the same kind of order. So in that halo kind of effect, deepening on the sides, darkening on the sides, and now I'm just reapplying Supernova. As you can see, it was kind of fading a little bit, so I just need to make sure it's popping right there. Now I'm using a Dip Brow Pomade, and I'm using the dark brown. And I'm using this Benefit brush, which I really like. It's an angled brush. They just came out with it. And I'm just defining her brows a little more. As you can see, that other brow is just, it's nice and it's shaped, but it's missing something. It's missing some volume, and it's missing some color and some depth. So I love going in with the dip brow. I feel like with the dip brow, you just need to like own it and don't let it own you. You know, it can tend to look really fake and Sharpie-ish if you just put too much or apply too much pressure. But once you get it down packed, this product is going to be your lifesaver, because it literally doesn't budge. It lasts forever. It's waterproof, and it just adds a lot of definition, and it makes it look like the client has thick, luscious eyebrow hairs. It literally just looks so good, and it just brings the look to the next level. You know I'm gonna highlight like crazy, so I first went in with Laura Geller Gilded Honey. I've been obsessed with Gilded Honey. As soon as summertime comes around, I'm obsessed with gold highlights, so I'm packing on Gilded Honey. And I'm just applying this obviously to her cheeks, to her nose, her upper lip, anywhere where I typically highlight, which is basically the whole entire face. She's dry, so I'm not afraid to use a ton of highlight because she wants that glow. You know, with dry skin, you need to fake the glow. And even though we've been applying a lot of hydrating products, we still want the skin to look super duper glowy. So now I'm just touching up the blush because sometimes after highlighting, the blush kind of disappears. As you can see, we're having a blast. Try not to make them laugh when you're doing their lip and when you're doing their eyes. That is very important. I'm just touching up her brow bone color, and you don't want to poke them. That's why I was saying you don't want to make them laugh when you're doing like their eyeliner, because it is very scary because you're touching their eyeballs and you don't want to poke them. And now I'm just furthermore contouring. I'm using a MAC Sculpt powder in Sculpt. And I'm also using, what's this other color? Shadester. I love Sculpt and Shadester. They are amazing Sculpt powders from MAC. If you like Emphasize from MAC, you're going to love Sculpt and Shadester. They're just great contour and bronzing powders. And they're so underrated. And I just really, I use them pretty much every time I have a client. Now I'm going in with Galactic Bashful. It's funny, Natalie hunted down 2 Bashfuls for me, and I was like, well, we gotta use it. Like, she found it in a drugstore and she bought them for me, and so I paid her obviously, but I was like, you know what, we need to use it, okay, because you hunted this down and we just need to see how it looks on you. On her, it's a lot more like pink. On me, it's a little bit more of like a natural nudie brownie nude, unless they changed the formula or something. On her, it was showing up very pink. So I'm just, you know, following her natural lip line. She didn't want anything too pouty, but I'm just lightening it up a little bit, and I'm using Ochre Sao Paulo. This is one of my favorite colors. Honestly, it's been a go-to for me for a hot minute right now. So now I'm contouring her nose. You guys already know Ilamasqua Heroine is my favorite for contouring the nose. It just looks so natural, and I'm using a Luxie angled eyeshadow brush. Luxie angled brushes are my favorite for contouring the nose. I just feel like it just is so precise. This brush is also amazing. Wayne Goss. Oh my god. I'm obsessed with the Wayne Goss brushes. They really hug the socket. They really hug that crease, and they just apply so much product, but in the most beautiful way. It's really crazy. Now I'm just using some Sigma brushes, some MAC brushes to further blend and to just intensify everything a little more with the same colors. I'm using the same Modern Renaissance palette, but I'm just seeing what needs a little more definition. I'm hydrating her with the MAC Fix Plus. Always warn your client before you're about to spray them, and having this fan is literally life-changing. Thank you so much. I mean, this literally changed my life. Having a fan was just so amazing. What else? I'm like talking so freaking fast. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of video and seeing this process. Let me know like what constructive criticism you have with these kinds of videos, like, or what other ideas you want to see. Like here, I'm basically just, you know, repeating the steps, cleaning up the brows. Like, do you guys want to actually see this part? Because I was thinking of just cutting out any parts that are repetitive. Like here, I'm just literally concealing her brows one more time. And this is what I do, you know. I don't know if you guys want to see it, or do you think it's just too repetitive. But this is how I work. I work in layers, and the result is gorgeous. I'm using Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. And then this is my favorite at the moment, Skindinavia Bridal. It's amazing, and I'm just fanning her, perfecting her, and now we could take our pictures. And that's the look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, look at those gorgeous eyes. Bye, guys. Mwah.